Welcome to this week's video. We're going to begin by printing off the side plates. Now this is going to be slightly awkward to show you, but I will show you the full process. So I'm going to load up the side plates. Now you can print them like that. In most cases it will work. For a little bit of belt and braces, just so that the build plate doesn't knock them off, which it does on my printer sometimes. I like to lay them flat wherever possible. I like my prints to be wider than they are tall. So just for the sake of a couple of minutes work, I'm just going to lay them out like that. Normal resolution, 0.3 layer height, and as you can see that's 7 hours and 55 minutes. Let's have a look at the print. It's a total of 40 layers, and it doesn't seem to want to show me this. Okay, so we won't look then. See if I can get it back. Okay, so it's obviously playing up there. So that's the plates. The next print that we're going to do is we're going to begin on the horseshoe, which is, you'll have to forgive the way that I've set my files up. So we're working on the left leg, and we're actually not working on the leg, we're working on the greebles. There we go. So the left horseshoe, and we're after the these are the 3 plates that we did last week. So I actually want this file, and that's just the top of the horseshoe. And obviously we'll do the next 2 pieces next week. Did that slice? There we go, it did slice. So that's going to be about a 3-hour 50-minute print. We are printing an awful lot, but I say it's getting it done, and then we can do a lot of prep work later on, and then we can just slow the print down a bit for the right leg. Okay, so these are the main prints for this week. We've got the side panels here, and I'll show you these 2 first because these are the better ones. Now I think these are absolutely identical. I've tried them both ways, put them on this way and put them on that way. They both seem absolutely spot on, but these do have different file names. So I have printed them off 2 separate files, but you know they look the same. So but just go with it, you know, try them different ways. Now these panels, these came out fine because I printed them this way up with no support and with a very high resolution 0.3. This obviously came out a little bit dodgy. I'm not worried about it, and I'll explain why when I do a dry fit. And then the last piece is the horseshoe. You've got 2 holes here, and you've got dovetail joints there. Now this is going to make very little sense, because there's 2 more pieces to come. Once those 2 extra pieces come and we link this up with the plates, it will then all become absolutely crystal clear. But you know, like a lot of these, 1 piece on their own makes very little sense, but obviously it's all critical for the build. So let's try and get the leg in. It is becoming problematic because of the size, but let's do our best. So what we will do, we've got the leg that we've got so far. No, sorry, I keep magnets on these. This is, I'll explain why later. When you put 2 magnets together, you've got to have the correct polarity. So I keep these magnets, I kind of reserve them. So these are the plates that we've done in previous videos, and they've got these little ridges on, so they're really good. They line up absolutely spot on. I'm really happy with these. Sorry, my bad. I wanted to do the side panels first because they go underneath. But the reason being is that you'll see this. There's a big massive overlap, as you can see. That will be fixed by the side panels. Now I absolutely love these side panels because as you can see there, with the dovetail joints, it's probably a lot. It's very rigid. I was going to almost invented a new word there. Rigidity. I don't know. Maybe that is a word. And that's probably quite strong. But by adding these panels, you can see that it's going to add additional strength. Now, when I said about which direction they go, obviously they're not going to go that way. They will fit, but you can see they're not going to look right. So they will go this way. Now, these are two separate files, as I've explained. However, you see they're both spot on. Now, as I explained, there's a little bit of dodgy bit here. I'm really not worried about that, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to file that down so it's smooth. You see I've got some little bits that are falling off. It's going to be a piece of dawdle to just fill over there, and then just run the sander over, and we'll get that absolutely level. So that's the side panels on, and they seem quite loose. Every time I dry fit these stay on quite firm. Not absolutely rock solid, but that's fine. So they'll be nice and solid. And then we've got the side panels here. Please note that these notches are off center. That's so you can't get them the wrong way round. You see there, that's not going to fit. But if we turn that round like that, and now you can see how much additional support that's giving it. So now we've put the side panels on, we can obviously start putting the plates on. So these plates go on, like I say, these make very little sense without the actual horseshoe on. And to be honest with you, in order to make progress, perhaps I should have done the left and the right horseshoe first, because these do have little holes that you can line these up perfectly, whereas this piece of the horseshoe, it kind of lines up with the other two pieces of horseshoe, so there's no definite perfect way to put this on without the support of its left and right. So perhaps I've done it the wrong way, I don't know. You could glue the magnet in now. Let me just remove this panel. You could glue the magnet in and then glue that in, because both, you see you've got a hole there and you've got the magnet recess there. Obviously once you've put these together, that will form a much bigger recess, the same size as these, and you should, let's do a little test, shall we? Once these are removed, once these are put together, yeah, there we go. So you see we actually get a magnet in there that's actually lower than the recess there. So yeah, maybe I should have done the left and the right horseshoe first. Ultimately it won't make a difference, because I'm not going to be able to do any work on this week. I just feel that until we've got more pieces, it's best to do the whole lot together. So that is it. Now, I printed these quite a while back actually, when my printer was actually functioning really well, and you see I managed to get this shiny bottom, and a couple of people have said to me, oh wow, that looks absolutely fantastic, and yes it does, but I'm wondering if it's going to affect its sticky capabilities. So that's actually a bad thing. I'm going to have to just give that a bit of a sand just to rub it up, rub it down a bit. I think they call the process keying up. So we're actually going to end up putting a big heavy sandpaper over that, which is going to cut some fine lines in it, which is going to make it stick better. So having a wonderful print surface isn't always the best thing, is it? So that's that then. So what I'm going to do now is move on to the print that we're doing for next week, the advanced print that we're doing for the body, and then we'll go on to the costings. Okay, so what we're going to finish off with this week, you'll recognize this. This comes from, this looks very similar to a previous body panel, and this is Ring 2 18B, and it just simply looks like that. Nothing particularly exciting. If you have a little problem with small detail, you've got a line there, so you may perhaps want to flip it over. But it should print absolutely fine as it is, and that will take approximately 6 hours and 22 minutes. So yeah, it's a lot of printing, but you know, it's getting it done, isn't it? So this is the print Ring 2 18B. Really nothing exciting, I'm so sorry. And if some of you might be watching, and if you're a Family Guy fan, you'll get this, but some of you might be watching going, you're a phony, that's the same as last week. It actually isn't. This is last week's print. I mean, you'll recognize this from 9, and this is one of the ones that I struggle, I can't remember, I think they go together like that to form one bigger piece. But yeah, as I say, you know, I say this an awful lot, when we're printing individual pieces, there really isn't anything exciting. It's not till you start to put, as you can see, look, they are quite boring. When you put these together, they're not necessarily interesting, but they're less boring. And that unfortunately is the way it goes. This is why I do the pieces of the ring, a couple of pieces at a time, but get on with something else, and then all of a sudden, whoa, there you are, there's loads of pieces, and we'll put them together. Perhaps this project is more suited for the people that sort of do a video every 2 or 3 months. I personally like to just crack on and just do an hour's work or 2 hours work a week. The beauty with the 3D printing is that I can get on with the prints, and if I don't feel like doing any work on it, I can still get the prints running. I like to keep the 3D printer busy. It's either doing the R2D2 or it's doing something else. Let me just move. This is my messy bit, but you see I've printed all of these. I'm trying to tidy my desk up, so I've got some of these little I love these trays. So I now put all my little screws in a pot. It's an expensive way of doing it, but it's just turned out really well. So yeah, I keep my printer busy. I've actually got, if I was to make a video, like if I made everything now, I could probably do 15 weeks worth of here's the print videos. It's the actual work that I haven't completed yet. Anyway, I shall bore you no more. So let's move on to the costings, and yeah, and then that'll be the end of this week's video. Okay, so we started off with a balance of £45.79. Obviously we had £10 for that. The side panels has cost me £2.64, with the top of the horseshoe being £1.61. The LEDs, don't need to keep going over them, they're 25p. Now the piece 18B from Ring 2 was £2.35. That brings the spending for the week up to £6.85, which is a lot more promising. We're now actually starting to accumulate a little bit of money for the pot, which now stands at £48.94.